Don't forget to check out and grab your copy of our 2 newly released books, Football, a Love Story, and What Did Football Teach Me? These books feature over 100 stories from current and former coaches, players, executives, and entertainers from across the football landscape, describing what got them involved in the game, what they love about it, and what life lessons the game taught them. You can find your copy or order your copy from our website at footballgameplan.com/books. The theme in this week's game plan segment is going to be about how to defend the empty formation, because quiet has kept both Carolina and Green Bay can't operate well out of empty sets because of the quarterback situation they have with Aaron Rodgers and Cam Newton, both being mobile guys. But I'm going to show you the difference in both offenses and how they can do a better job of defending that. Now, first segment, we're going to talk about Green Bay's ability to get pressure on Cam Newton. That's how they're going to have to win this game. It's going to be with contained pressure. Now, I love the personnel that they have in the secondary. That's what makes this possible. Why? Because they have the opportunity to go man coverage on the outside. They have a safety back there deep, one safety back deep. They also have a dime defender here that's going to be very good versus the run. The reason why this works for these guys is because 1, 2, 3, they can trust one-on-one versus 1, 2, 3. So their corners, whether it be their third corner or their fourth corner or even their fourth defender, they can trust versus the Carolina Panthers receiving core. I think that's the advantage Green Bay has facing, let's say, an empty set. So if they want to go full empty and put the back out in motion, they can. But let's just say they're going to keep him in the backfield. How they can get pressure while playing contained versus Cam Newton is going to be crucial. And I think this is why this unique setup is going to be be advantageous for the Green Bay Packers. You have Julius Peppers and his athleticism on the outside. You have Nick Perry on the outside uncovered. Why are we going to put the 5 technique over the tackle? And we're going to split this tackle, this 5 technique, in between the tackle and the tight end. We're going to actually put him in a pseudo 7 technique, but really what we're going to do is crash him inside. We're going to try to influence the running back and what the tight end does. We're going to just assume the tight end is going out in a route and he's going to be manned up with this defender right here, our dime defender. Again, we're manned up on the outside. We're going to try to create a situation. We're going to keep the back in the backfield, but still get pressure, athletic pressure, with Julius Peppers and Nick Perry on the outside. So what we want to do with the 5 tech, we want to crash him in that B gap. We want to try to influence this tackle to step in and help out this guard. We're going to push hard in that B gap, freeing up Nick Perry coming on the outside. His freed up pressure is either going to keep this back in position to block, or if this guy releases, this backer has him at his advantage. So we want to force him to stay in and pick up Nick Perry, so we don't have to utilize him to cover this back in the flat. We want him to be the pseudo spy on Cam Newton. So now what we're doing with this nose tackle, we're going to easily squeeze him in this A gap. Again, trying to get 2 guys to pick him up. We're going to have this 7 tech, work back in to the B gap. Again, trying to get him to squeeze in. Why? Because we have Julius Peppers, athletic pressure, coming on the outside, and he's able to chase Cam Newton, whether he goes out toward him or tries to release it and go out the back door. So you want Julius Peppers and Nick Perry on the outside. Now, what you want to do, since you trust your guys on the outside to man up one-on-one versus the receivers of Carolina, you have a free backer to blitz. Because if he stays in and blocks Nick Perry, what we want him to do by squeezing these gaps here, every gap is covered, boom, right down the B gap. You want Cam Newton to make a quick decision with the football to where one of your defensive backs can pick it off, and if, God forbid, somebody gets deep, you have a safety back there that can eliminate space or eliminate mistakes by going sideline to sideline. But now you have Nick Perry on the outside, Julius Peppers on the outside. Both have free releases, and if they keep this tight end in to block Julius Peppers, now you have a dime defender to come in and blitz right here in this C gap. So you see where Green Bay's defensive personnel could actually be advantageous to them, for them, against Carolina and what they want to do from an empty set, or even if they decide to keep the back in the backfield. So let's move on to the Panthers to see how they can defend the Packers' empty formation. I'm going to show you how they have the personnel to be in great position to do so as well, because they have a smart defense. They have a guy in Thomas Davis, excellent football IQ. Luke Kuechly, excellent football IQ. You can leave him on the field in this situation. I love what they have in Roman Harper, who's solid within the front seven, and the closer you put him to the box, I think he could do well, not only in coverage, but also versus the run. You have corners that are instinctive, Charles Tillman, and you also have Josh Norman, who's playing lights out right now, probably one of the better corners in football. And you can trust your safety, Kurt Coleman, who had a really good game last week versus Indianapolis, back deep. And I think this is how they can set themselves up to put pressure on Aaron Rodgers, but also being in great position with a 4-2-5, a nickel look in their defense, because again, they don't have to take those backers off the field. Thomas Davis was a former college strong safety, so he can do well in coverage, especially versus a tight end, so you can trust him on the field. Luke Kuechly, we're going to utilize him as a blitzer in this situation to get pressure on Aaron Rodgers to force a quick and hopefully an accurate decision. Now, what you want to do with your defensive line, you want to have this defensive end cross face of the tight end, push up and out. He's contained pressure. He's getting up, out, and around, keeping Aaron Rodgers in the pocket. What we're going to do is get creative here with our defensive end. We're going to crash him in, boom. Have the defensive tackle loop around on the outside, get contained pressure. Now we're going to take our more athletic defensive tackle, let's say Kawan Short. We want to have him push this offensive guard, occupy the guard. Why? Because this is where we're going to send Luke Kuechly. We're going to send him down this A-gap to get pressure. Boom, he's going down the A-gap, and as he's occupying the guard, he's dropping back into the hook to curl to maybe even slant coverage. Why? Because we have the corner. Let's say this is Josh Norman. We're going to put him closer to the field. We have Josh Norman lined in between the wide receiver and the in man on the line of scrimmage, the offensive tackle. Why? Because he's playing in a cock position, because he wants to keep this guy outside, because he's outside the numbers, and that's one thing Green Bay does well. They expand the field horizontally and force your defense into a pseudo man defense. Okay, well, if you're going to do that to us defensively, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure if I'm playing man, I want to have the sideline to my friend as my friend. So I'm going to make you stay to the outside. So I'm going to stay in the cock position. I'm going to split the tackle and the receiver, so that way now I can just turn easily and run with this receiver. This throw will have to be an accurate throw, and we know how much ball skills Josh Norman has, so this is why you want him in that position, forcing that receiver to stay to the sideline where you're essentially doubling him, because again, this ball has to be accurate or it will be incomplete, or better yet, intercepted. And the safety can get over top to help out if need be, but he's going to try to shade a little bit toward the quad side, because you have a tight end and 3 wide receivers. Now, where you can get creative here and how they can be in better position to defend themselves, you want Roman Harper closer to the line of scrimmage. Why? Because he's a good guy versus the run. And I think he can do well in a short area coverage. Give him a short area to cover instead of a deep part of the field. I think that's how you can help him maximize his talents. So now he's going to buzz to this hook to curl area right here. He's going to take that short underneath pass right there. If they want to run out, he has that covered. If they want to push up, he can get a good bump right there, but still drop back into his zone. Your corner, Charles Tillman, in a cock position, guarding the sideline, but watching the quarterback, because he has great instincts. He could drive on the football if need be. You're going to have your backer, Thomas Davis. His job is to play hook, and you're going to play curl right here with your nickel defender. So you're playing great short underneath coverage. He could play flat, hook, curl, or hook, curl, flat. So you have those 3 guys protecting the underneath zone. Anything that comes deep, Charles Tillman is eyeing both the quarterback and the receiver breaking deep. You have safety help over top. And this is how you can play effective short defense while getting pressure with a nice T&E stunt right here on the inside, dropping a zone cover here with your defensive tackle while blitzing Luke Kuechly, hopefully forcing a quick decision. You have 3 guys. You essentially have 4 guys covering 3 over here. You get a good banjo cover right there with the safety eyeing the tight end. If he breaks in, he can drive on that. But you're also playing outside protection with your backer doing a great job in Thomas Davis. Even if you want to get creative, you can man up Thomas Davis right there on the tight end and fully take him away. But if they want to zone the quad side while playing ISO on the backside, they can do that. But I do say Carolina has the personnel defensively, just like Green Bay does, to take away or be in better position to defend the empty formation or one back in the backfield. I think this is going to be a great game. But I just whipped up 2 defensive plays for you guys on the whiteboard, showing you how they can be in better position to defend the 5 wide based off their personnel.
I like the Packers in this ball game. I believe, all things considered, Green Bay's offense, because of its consistency and how they can move the football, will eventually give Carolina problems. Now, the Panthers will have some early stops. They'll have some big plays defensively, but I think throughout the course of a 60-minute ball game, I think Green Bay's offense will eventually wear down that Panthers defense.
Panthers and Packers, two teams coming off of different results. The Packers coming off a game in which they were shut down by the Denver Broncos. Aaron Rodgers under 100 yards passing. He's definitely going to be looking to rebound from that effort. The Panthers, Cam Newton and the team, they were able to beat the Colts. Andrew Luck, last part of the game, overtime. What a game. My X factor for the Packers is going to be Clay Matthews. And the Packers in the past have used Clay Matthews to serve as kind of like a spy or a shadow, to these quarterbacks such as Colin Kaepernick, Russell Wilson. Same thing will go this week against Cam Newton. They're going to have Clay Matthews spy him. He has that speed sideline to sideline to keep up with Cam Newton. So the Panthers, they like to run the football, and that's why my X factor for the Panthers is going to be the running game. Cam Newton and Jonathan Stewart. They call a lot of power plays for the quarterback, allowing him to get the ball outside with the lead blocker. So that's going to be another reason why both of these X factors are going to really be tied together. I actually have the Packers winning this game. You would like to see the Panthers streak go, but the Packers are going to win this game, and I have them winning by a score of 24-21.
In a huge matchup, this could be the NFC Championship game. The Packers travel to see the Carolina Panthers. Now, for the Packers, yes, he had probably the worst game of his career. In fact, I think statistically it was. Aaron Rodgers is still the start. Sometimes you have to give credit where it's due, and the Broncos' defense is clearly the best in the league. I don't expect two performances like that back-to-back for Aaron Rodgers. As far as the sit is James Jones. Again, you're playing against Josh Norman. He had trouble with the keep to leave last week. I think the same thing continues. He's not the start this week. More Randall Cobb action than anything. As far as a start for the Panthers, I'm going to start Greg Olsen. This team does not defend well against opposing tight ends. I don't think it's going to happen this week, and he is the #1 target in the passing game for the Panthers. As far as a sit, it's going to be the Panthers D. I do expect him to get back on target, and I mean that bad man Aaron Rodgers, and you don't want to start a Panthers D if you don't have to. Okay, as far as a sleeper, expect a big play, Ted Ginn making up for some huge drops. Remember, he was big fantasy gold if he just held onto the ball late in that game against the Colts. Final score in this one, I have the Packers actually going up on top, 24-20.